Hey, what's up everybody? This is Leroy. Welcome to my channel, 40 and Broke, where we're all about getting out of debt, saving, investing, and getting our finances under control so we can live the life we've always dreamed of. Because that's what it's all about, living the life we've always dreamed of. Now, I've done a few cooking challenges with Cynthia from Our Big's Adventure, Grandma B over at Grandma B's Busy Life, and Samantha over at Small Family, Small Budget. So Brenda at Grandma B left me a comment and said, hey, I would love it if you would challenge us, and by us she meant Samantha, Cynthia, and herself, to a finance video. So that's what I'm doing right here. This video is frugal tips, how to save some money, any sort of tips and tricks that you have that helps you budget, and what they do to help them budget. So that way we can help you out and everybody can get a different idea on what's going on. So, and then at the end, I've decided I'm going to start a savings challenge, and you don't have to do that if you don't want to. What I'm going to do, I've got a deck of cards here. So I figured whatever I draw, I'm going to set that aside every week. I know there's a chance that I won't get a lot of money saved, but there's also a chance that I will. So what I figured I'd do is 2 through ace. Obviously 2 through 10 is worth whatever it says. And then Jack is going to be worth 11, Queen 13, King 15, Ace is worth 20. So I figure at the most, that's $80 a month, and I'm going to put that on my lawnmower loan so I can get that paid off. I figure at most $80 a month extra, and that'll get that paid off. So I should be able to do that. But anyways, I'm rambling here, so let me get into this video, and then I'll pull this card at the end of the video. So I've got a handful of tips that I do to save money. Number one, and I'll say this every time, budget. Budget, 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 budget. I cannot say this enough. If you do not know where your money is going, then, as Dave Ramsey says, all it is woohoo, it's Friday. Oh no, it's Monday. So give your money a purpose. If you can sit down and write what your budget is, this way you know your expenses, and you can say, I have X amount coming in, I have X amount going out. I need to set aside X amount from each paycheck so that I'm not struggling every time I get paid. So that's the first thing. That's one huge thing. Give your money a purpose. Don't just let it go out wherever it goes, who knows, and the next thing you know, you're saying, hey, where did all my money go? So budget. Do not overspend what you have. Set money aside for your bills so that you're not struggling at the end of every month or at the end of every week whenever you get paid. So that's my first tip. Budget. Like I said, I cannot stress that enough. Budgeting. Insanely important. So I think number 2, one thing I do is I try to meal plan. You know, I don't, like Cynthia and Grandma B and Samantha, they meal prep amazing. Check out their channels on their meal preps, because I mean, they sit aside at the beginning of the week, they figure out what all their meals are going to be, what they're going to cook, this, that, and the other. I say I want to do that, and trust me, it's a great way to save money, because you're using up what you have. You're not running to the store. You're not saying, oh man, it's been a long day, I don't know what I want to cook. You already have the meals. You already have the meal decided what you're going to have, so everything should be prepped. So meal prep is amazing. It just saves on those unexpected expenditures, like long day, let me just go to McDonald's, or let me go to KFC. Nope, you already have your meal, and it's good to go. So I like the idea of meal prepping. Actually putting it into practice is something totally different for me. I try it. I love it when I do it, but I don't stick with it. That's my problem. So I would have to say one of my next tips, and it goes along the line of meal prepping, freezer meals. I love freezer meals. I make this lazy man lasagna. It's so simple. I can make like 3 pans of it, and I put them in these little tins, and then I just cover them in tin foil, throw them in my freezer. Right when I made them, write the directions on how to cook them, and then when we're having one of those rough days, it's like, okay, we're busy. Today's going to be a busy day. Let's pull this lasagna out of the freezer, set it out so that it thaws. Then all we do when we come home, throw it in the oven, warms up, boom, done. Bag your own lunch. Or if you're not going to bag your own lunch, don't overspend when you go to the store. So budget out a certain amount of money each week for your lunches. Don't spend over that. So I prefer to bag my own lunch because I like what I cook. So if I didn't like my food, I'm not going to eat it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some stuff the next day I don't want to eat. Honestly, the stuffed peppers I made a while back, I wasn't so sure on how they would taste the next day. But the pepper itself, not the greatest, little soggy. But the filling, way better the next day than it was that first day. So that actually turned out pretty good. So I was happy with that. Now, I'm a truck driver, so I'll get to a stop. If they have a microwave, I will heat it up in the microwave, and I'm usually pretty good to go. So bag your own lunch. Man, you know, there's so many frugal tips out there that I could give, you know, grocery hauls. But my biggest tip is, and Caleb Bale just did a video on this about the difference between expense tracking and budgeting. But I still think you should expense track, but do not use it in lieu of budgeting. You need to know where your money's going. So if you know where your money's going by tracking your expenses, you can say, this is where it's leaking out of my budget. This is the hole I need to plug. So there are a handful of tips right there. I know there's tons of them still out there, and I probably just hit on the ones that Samantha, Cynthia, and Brenda are going to talk about, but these are some of my favorite, you know. I try to stay away from the stores during the week, so I would like only to go grocery shopping once a week. I might hit Save a Lot every now and then during the week just to grab 1 or 2 things here, but I do like to get the idea of the meal prep. This is what I want to cook during the week, so I try to get the food for that, and that way I'm not going to the store all the time. And stay away from those end cap displays. When you get there, have a list of what you're going to have. That way you're not making a whole bunch of impulse purchases. So those are a handful of my tips on what to do to save money. So if you got any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Give me a big thumbs up for that YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to my channel. Like I said, comment down below if you have any questions. I'll answer them. And let's get to drawing this card to see how much money I'm going to set aside. So let's see what we got here. What is it? King, 15 smack'ems. So, all right, so I'm going to set aside $15. I'm going to put it into one of my accounts so that I can save that, and then at the end of the month, I'll throw all that money right into the towards my lawnmower. And the other thing, like, I'm not challenging Cynthia, Brenda, or Samantha to do a money saving challenge, but if you have tips on how to save money for budgetary items, you know, like groceries is a huge, that's the biggest expense people have besides rent. So especially if you have a lower income or just a large family, what do you do to save money for your budgetary items? You know, if there's something extra that you want, say, you know, you've got some baseball games coming up, like we have the county fair coming up. So I set aside money for the county fair because I know it's going to cost me a lot of money to stay at the fair for a week. So basically I just take whatever cash I have left over and I'll just throw it over there and I'll try to put it in as a budgetary item. Or what I'll do is at the end of the day, whatever's left over in my account, I will round it to the nearest 0 or 5, which I've stated this before. If I have 106.28, I'll put $1.28 into a savings account so that it goes, that I have an even like 105. Or if it's 104.10, I'll put that 410 into the savings account so that I have an even 100. But all right, so Cynthia, Samantha, and Brenda over at Grandma B's, you know, I challenge you guys to do a video on what you do to save money and frugal tips and things like that. So, all right, everybody, have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next video. Okay, so I just had an epiphany about my my card challenge. So if I draw a 2 for the week, that's a pretty low amount. I mean, I've got $2 in pennies sitting right over here on my shelf. So what I decided is it's going to be at least $10. So when I take these cards, if I draw and I draw a 9, I'm going to keep drawing again until I break 10. So if I draw a 9 and a queen, which is 13, so that means I put aside $22. So there we go. It's going to be at least $10. So I'll draw until I get at least $10. So I just wanted to add that in there because after I got done recording, I had that epiphany. So, all right, everybody, thanks for watching.